It's a fresh word for today on the Fresh Anointing Show with Jay Richardson. Hey, don't forget to tell your family and friends about a fresh word for today on the Fresh Anointing Show that comes your way each week, just to give you some motivation to get up and go. Don't you just sit there. Stay tuned for a fresh word from Jay Richardson on the Fresh Anointing Show. All right, let's go. It's the Fresh Anointing Show with Jay Richardson. Let's see what nuggets Jay has for us today on the Fresh Anointing Show. Let's listen in now with Jay Richardson. Jay Richardson. The Fresh Anointing Show.
Yo, my man Jay. Come on.
Top of the day to you and welcome to the Fresh Anointing Show. It's a fresh word for today. And today what we're going to be talking about is it's not too late to clean up the mess. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I used to hear my mom say, it's time to clean up the mess. Well, still today, even as grown-ups, we still have messes in our lives, emotionally, mentally, and other kinds of messes that sometimes we create, sometimes other people create for us. But I want to talk to you just for a few minutes today as we look at, first of all, this woman who had an issue of blood over in Luke chapter 8. And the Bible teaches us that this woman had this illness for many, many years, 12 years to be exact. She went from doctor to doctor and no one could help her. And think about it. Sometimes our distresses drives us to God, who helps us to grow closer to Him. In return, He helps us clean up our messes and He turns things around for us. When you look at this woman with this issue that she had, many of us have issues in life, right? But one thing that I admire about this woman, she did not quit. She did not give up. She did not sit around having a pity party. And I'm sure at one point in time in her life, she did have a pity party, but she realized that she had to get up because nobody else could do anything for her except for Jesus. And she made it a point that she was going to get to Jesus. Whatever it took, she was going to get to Jesus. And so the Bible tells us that she made her way to touch the hem of His garment. That's the faith that she had in Jesus, and knowing that if she got to Him, He was going to help her and He was going to clean up her mess and turn things around for her. We have to have that same faith to be able to get through our challenges in life, our situations, our circumstances that we go through in this life, on this journey. We sometimes regret what has happened in our lives, what has taken place in our lives, because of the pain, the agony, and defeat. But you have to understand that this distress, sometimes we allow it to drive us away from God. Now, those are the regrets that we need to have. Anything that drives you away from God is not good. Therefore, we have to allow our distress to drive us towards God, because again, He's going to help us clean up this mess and turn it around for us. Isn't it wonderful in the way that God works for us? The ways in which this distress that comes in our lives, it pushes us closer to God. I don't know about you, but I run straight to Him and I'm crying out to Him. And when God finished working on us, reshaping us, remolding us, and making us again another, we become alive. We become more sensitive, and things in our life become more relevant. And we become more passionate about who we are in God and our relationship with God. Look at it from the standpoint that we have to trust God with our whole life. A saying that I love to say, and I say it all the time, I have to be able to trust the heart of God when I can't trace the hand of God. And then I cry out to him and I said, God, please hear my prayer. And that's what the psalmist said in Psalm 39. Hear my prayer, O Lord, and give ear to my cry. Hold not your peace. And absolutely right. Sometimes you have to cry, but you got to think about it. You got to run to God because God is our helper. He's going to be the one when trouble comes, when trouble is in my way and I have to cry sometime. God is the one that's going to turn it around for me. Have you ever been there? Have you ever ached with the sadness of life? I know you have, whether it was an empty bank account, a failing marriage, or the loss of a loved one. Life can feel empty at times. It's messy and full of surprises. But I have to know that I find my strength in God. I find the power that I need in God. I find the authority that I need to stand up and walk in God. Therefore, I'm saying to you, here's a word for you today, is to get up and begin trusting God. In the midst of your distress, in the midst of your despair, in the midst of your difficulties, in the midst of your challenges, I want you to know that if you trust God, He will see you through and He will bring you out of the mess that you're in. God knows how to take your mess and turn it into a miracle. It's never too late to clean up the mess. I don't care what you've been through, what you've done in life. God's grace and His mercy is always there to walk by you and pick you up out of the muck and the miry clay of life and bring you to a brand new life, transformation, and the renewing of the mind. It's a new day. It's time to go. Get up. And let's move forward. A fresh word for today. Until next time, may the Lord bless you real good. Thanks for joining us. Keep your head up. And until next time, remember to forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past, because God is doing a new thing, a fresh thing. Can you see it? The Fresh Anointing Show. The views and opinions expressed by the program participants are not necessarily the views of the Fresh Anointing Show.